Hi, my name is Deron. Today I am going to be cooking beef short ribs. These here are what you call flanking style beef short ribs. They're about 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit more thick. You can get these cut this way at your local butcher. Most grocery stores have maybe the thinner cuts, which will be half of this. That's called a Korean style. That's usually used in like Korean barbecues, but we're not barbecuing, we're braising today. Up here, as you can see, I already have my mise en place together. That is pretty much everything in its place. I'm using Vidalia onions, and this here is red, yellow, and orange bell peppers. I like the fruit notes in those. That's why I'll be using those. My spice mix for my rub, it's pretty much a normal essence. Essence is salt, paprika, garlic, onion powder, turmeric, and I added black pepper and a couple of rosemary, thyme, and dill. You can, or if you want to go with just going to the store buying essence, you can do that too. Okay. Now, as you can see, I already have my ribs seasoned on both sides and ready to go. Right here, I'm using a roasting pan. The bottom is already coated in a small amount of oil. What we're going to do is we're going to brown off the meat. Let's go ahead and test and see if this is hot enough. And yes, it is. Now, you want to make sure your pan is hot so you can hear that sear. Other than that, you're going to get gray meat. You don't want gray meat. I'm not gonna overcrowd this pan. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave this on and let it sear on all sides till we get a nice brown, and then we'll be taking these out. All right, so through the magic of time, all of the ribs are now brown. So we're now going to start throwing in our onions and mid-fire, because what we're going to do is we're going to deglaze this pan to get all of that good stuff at the bottom up. We want all of those good things. Now we're going to sweat this and get everything. Mind you, do not use metal utensils on metal. See, and get all of those sugars. Pull up all of those bits. Every last one of them. Now, you want all of these little bits on the bottom. The caramelization that's going on right now that's releasing the sugars from the onions and the bell peppers. It helps to get all of those little bits off the bottom, because you got to remember, you're building flavor. You're building layers of flavor. One layer upon one layer upon one layer. Now, I know what you're saying, like, it's oil at the bottom. What are we going to do with this oil? Well, don't worry about that. We do have a method that's going to help you, that's going to help with getting this oil up. What I like to do at this point is I add flour. This is about, I would say, 4 tablespoons of flour. What this flour is going to do, it's going to help draw this fat up. And while you're cooking it, you don't want to put raw, unprocessed flour inside of your food and not let it cook out. No one wants to taste raw, unprocessed flour. As you can see, is thickening this up, and it's almost like a roux, like a dark roux. This is gonna be great in your gravy at the end. So now next we add 2 tablespoons, as you can see, of tomato puree. Now you want to cook this in there, because if you don't, it's going to give the beef a tart, tomatoey flavor, and you don't want that tartness. No one wants tartness. Your beef short ribs should have a sweetness to it. I'll switch hands here. I should have chose a better way of recording, I know. Now, that you see that this sauce has processed in there, we're going to start layering these short ribs back into this pot on top of the veg. All right, now that we have the meat in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deglaze this pan. This is Merlot. You can use a Cabernet, any type of rich wine. And you're just going to pour that on in there. And you want to bring this up to boil. I would say that's probably about 4 cups. This is a big pan. We're going to bring that up to boil. Because what you want to do is you need to reduce this braising liquid down by half. It's going to cook out the alcohol. As you can see, it started boiling. All right, you want this wine to boil, and you need this liquid to reduce at least by half before you go to the next step. All right, so just be patient. Trust me. Layers and layers and layers of flavor. All right. Now, as the wine has reduced, I am going to add beef stock to cover. Again, this is one of those things, you use beef stock or veal stock, beef flavor to fortify beef flavor. This is 1 box. This is Swanson's beef stock, 100% natural. 2 pounds. What's this? It is 32 ounces. Now, that was enough just to cover the meat up. You just want the liquid up to the bone. All right. Now, once we bring this up to a boil, we're going to put this into the oven. The oven, as you see, is already preset, 370 degrees. It's going to go in there for about 4 hours.